This is for educational use only. Our group grants permission for our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as educational material.
In today's interconnected world, countries are no longer isolated. Events happening in one nation can affect the rest of the globe, whether it's through economy, security, environment, or even health crisis. Our lesson for today will cover four main parts. First, internationalism versus globalism. Second, what is global governance? Third, the institutions that govern international relations. And fourth, the roles and functions of the United Nations in globalization. By the end of this video, you'll understand how nations cooperate, how global institutions function, and why global governance is important for our future. Now, let's start with our first part of our discussion, internationalism versus globalism. These two terms are often confused, but they actually mean different approaches to how countries and people interact in our world today. So first, what is internationalism? Internationalism is the principle of cooperation among independent nation states. It promotes understanding, collaboration, while making sure that each country still maintains its sovereignty, or in simple terms, its independence. The main goal of internationalism is to solve global problems together, but through diplomacy, treaties, and agreements. It focuses on peace, security, and shared development. For example, during natural disasters, countries send aid to each other, but through international organizations like the United Nations. So this shows cooperation while each country still acts independently. So meaning, countries work together by joining peacekeeping missions or giving disaster aid, but at the same time, each country keeps its sovereignty. They choose whether to join, how much to contribute, or how will they manage it, and they are not forced by a higher authority. Now, let's look at globalism. What is globalism? Globalism is different from internationalism because it views the world as a borderless and interconnected community. Instead of focusing on the independence of states, it emphasizes that humanity shares common challenges and opportunities. So in simple terms, globalism is about the free flow of goods, ideas, culture, and technology across borders. For example, global trade networks. A single iPhone has made in different countries. Designed in the US, assembled in China, and other parts came from different countries like Japan, South Korea, Germany, and sold all over the world. So that is global trade networks. Another example is social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Also shows globalism because they connect people instantly across nations, spreading cultures, trends, and even political ideas. So what's the difference between internationalism and globalism? Internationalism is about independent nation-states working together while still respecting their sovereignty. The focus is cooperation through diplomacy, treaties, and alliances. While on the other hand, globalism is about treating the world as one big community, with economies and societies deeply integrated beyond borders. So in simple terms, internationalism is the states cooperating, and globalism is the humanity acting as one.
Next is global governance. If we say global governance, it refers to the way international affairs are managed across borders through cooperation, institutions, laws, and norms, especially since there is no single government has authority over the entire world. In short, global governance interconnect it. In today's interconnected era, challenges like pandemics, terrorism, climate change, economic crisis, and migration can't be solved by one country alone. So nations, organizations, and other actors create systems of cooperation to manage these global issues. So there are four key aspects of global governance. First, absence of a world government. Unlike a single country that has one central government, the world has no global government. Instead, governance happens through cooperation between states and institutions. This means sovereignty of nations is respected, but they work together on issues too big for one state. Second, norms and institutions. These are rules, principles, and organizations that guide behavior at the international level. Norms also set the standards of what is acceptable globally, like human rights and non-use of nuclear weapons. Institutions like UN, WTO, and WHO provides the platforms to create and enforce these rules. Third, focus on transnational issues. Many problems are borderless that no single country can solve them alone. Global governance also ensures nations collaborate to tackle these shared problems. And last is multi-actor system. Governance is not only done by government, but there are many actors take part, like states, international organization, non-governmental organization, and multinational corporation.
So there are four challenges facing global governance. First is jurisdictional gaps. Jurisdictional gaps occur because no single global authority can enforce international rules. Example, in climate change agreements like the Paris Agreement 2015, countries set emission targets, but there is no enforcement power. Second is incentive gaps. Incentive gaps happen when states or actors lack motivation to cooperate on global issues, often prioritizing short-term national interest over long-term global benefits. Example, developed countries resist emission cuts, arguing developed nations cause past pollution, while some wealthy countries avoid strong commitments to protect their industries. Third, knowledge gaps. Knowledge gaps arise because global problems are complex and hard to fully understand. Example, despite scientific consensus on global warming, some governments deny or minimize the issue, delaying coordinated action. And last is sovereignty versus interdependence. Sovereignty is a state of supreme authority to govern itself without external interference, giving it full control over laws, policies, and borders. While interdependence is mutual reliance among states and non-states actors like corporations, NGOs, and international organizations. Globalization depends their reliance in areas like trade, security, technology, energy, and environmental protection.
Next is the institutions that govern international relations. So, there are 6 formal international institutions, and these are United Nations, World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, International Court of Justice, and regional organizations. United Nations, a global organization with the primary goal maintaining international peace, security, promoting human rights, and fostering cooperation on various global issues. So, the global of United Nations are to maintaining international peace and security, promote human rights, and foster cooperation among countries. For example, the United Nations often mediates conflict and provides peacekeeping forces to prevent or resolve wars. The second is World Trade Organizations, sets the framework for international trade agreements and resolve trade disputes between countries. So, the World Trade Organization set the rules for international trade and help resolve disputes between countries. For example, the ongoing trade conflict between the US and China was handled through the WTO or World Trade Organization Disputes Resolution Mechanism. And the third is International Monetary Fund, works to ensure global financial stability and sustainable economic growth through monitoring economies and providing financial assistance to member nations. So, the IMF or International Monetary Fund ensures the stability of the international financial system. It provides loans to countries facing crisis. For example, Greece received financial assistance from the IMF or International Monetary Fund during its debt crisis in the 2010. And the fourth is World Bank, focuses on poverty reduction, economic development, providing loans and grant to developing countries. So, the World Bank focuses on global poverty reduction by funding development projects such as school, roads, and healthcare in the poorer nations. For example, the World Bank funds infrastructure projects and developing countries to help boost their economies. The fifth is International Court of Justice, the principal judicial organ of the United Nations, settle legal disputes between states. So, the ICJ or International Court of Justice is the principal judicial body of the United Nations and settle legal disputes between states. For example, it handles border disputes and other legal disagreements between countries. Regional organizations. Example include the European Union, North Atlantic Treaty Organizations, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and the Organizations of Islamic Cooperation, each with their own specific mediates and area focuses. So, the European Union aims to promote peace, democracy, and economic integrations in Europe, while the North Atlantic Treaty Organizations focuses on collective defense and international security. The Associations of Southeast Asian Nations works to ensure peace, stability, and economic growth in the Southeast Asia, and the Organizations of Islamic Cooperations promote unity among Muslim countries and protects their political, economy, and cultural interests. Altogether, these organizations seek foster cooperation, stability, and development in their respective regions that beyond.
The role and function of the United Nations to globalization serve as a vital forum and facilitation of global cooperation addressing globalization complexity by promoting international peace and security, protecting human rights, supporting sustainable development, and fostering international law and standard through its diverse body and special agency. The United Nations play as an important role in globalization by helping countries cooperate and solve problems that affect the whole world. It works to maintain peace and security by providing war, solving conflict, and fighting terrorism. The United also protect human rights by making sure people ever are treated fairly with dignity. It supports sustainable development by promoting programs to fight poverty, protect to and improve education and health. At the same, the United create global rules and standards so countries can work together fairly in trade, law, and international relations. Finally, it encourages dialogue and understanding among nations and culture to build unity and cooperation.
Upholding international law and justice. The UN helps to develop and enforce international law and provides frameworks for international justice, including the International Court of Justice (ICJ) for legal disputes and the International Criminal Court (ICC) for grave crimes. Setting global standard. UN affiliated bodies such as the Codex Alimentarius, jointly established by the FAO and World Health Organization, set international standards for food safety and quality, benefiting consumers and facilitating fair trade practices, facilitating dialogue and cultural understanding. Beyond economic aspects, the UN recognizes the need for political and cultural understanding in globalization, promoting dialogue between civilizations to encounter extremism and foster cooperation.